myself. Can you all on the live stream, can you hear me after I hit mute? I'm gonna hit mute right now. Let's see, can you hear Allison? We're testing this out, this new setup here. So let me know if you can hear Allison at all. I don't think you can. Can you hear me? Yeah, let me see. And then, oh, wait, can I make it? Oh, yes, this is perfect. This is perfect. Bless you, Allison. All right, good. So just so y'all know, we're about to start. I'm testing out a bunch of stuff on the back end here. So audio's going in and out, but hopefully after this last test run, we'll get this all working right. All right, I think they can hear us now, right?
I think so. I can also hear the music. Can you stop the music?
No, I want this on. I want it to sound like we're in like a webinar.
Oh.
New product launch.
I don't have music
New episode
in my
of
webinars.
This is Awkward. All right, there we go. All right, I can turn this off now.
Can
so
people
the whole
hear
point
us?
Of this was to test out a new intro thing, so we're on time and we can get things going. All right.
Shirley says yes, she can hear us.
Oh, finally, about time.
Have you started QuickTime?
No, I haven't started it yet. Let me turn this music off.
Let me stop mine. I've been going for 2 minutes.
Let's see. You're so low. Oh, you're not talking next to your microphone. That's why.
Oh, sorry. Okay, file.
This music is so generic. Kaylee said, dang, look at that video quality. Finally. Oh, wait. I'm sharing my screen. You can see my screen. There's nothing on it there. There's nothing interesting there whatsoever. Let's see. How do I bring this up? Where's our...
Okay.
Let's see.
I love it. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you.
I muted myself. This thing is still a work in progress, as you can see. Learning how this new setup works and what needs to go where and how the music sounds. And
as soon as we get one system down, Chris is like, I'm throwing it out the window. We're going to overcomplicate things and try out 5 systems until I find one I like. We're going to use it for a solid year. And then I'm going to throw everyone else for a loop. I mean, is this not true?
No, this is just, it's a testing ground. It's a testing ground.
So is it true?
that I like to try new things.
Yes. Okay.
But in this situation here, our other one wasn't working well. We had all kinds of like quality issues. And so I was like, let me see what else is out there. And so now that I found this software, now I'm learning how to use it. There's all kinds of stuff we can do with this. The next thing is we need some name cards down here. There's nothing, our names aren't at the bottom. So that's the next thing I'm working on.
I could write a name tag.
That would be really helpful if you could. Because sometimes I do forget your name.
Right here. I could just put it right.
Alson.
Hey, don't call me that.
Alson Baggerly.
Are you going to tell people where that came from? Because I don't know if we talked about that on the podcast.
We did talk about it on the podcast.
Oh, we did.
You want to share that while we're getting set up here? Do you want to?
Fine.
Share with everyone
just make
where
sure you hit quick. Just start QuickTime, please.
I started QuickTime. It has been started.
The reason why Chris is calling me Alson is because when I was growing up, my older brother, who was a year and a half older than me, could not say Allison, so he would call me Alson. And he still, to this day, calls me Alson. And his wife calls me Alson because I guess that's like when they talk about me, she's heard him say Alson.
I love it.
And so when we were little, if he wanted me to do something for him, I would be like, say my name. And I wouldn't do it until he said Allison. But no. And then they also had a nickname for me called Elbow. I don't know.
That's a weird one. You said there's no reason why they called you Elbow. They just like calling you Elbow.
They like found this like weird. It was being an older brother. It was being an annoying boy.
Typical.
Yeah.
I have so many stories I can share about my brother. He was horrible. He was evil. Probably like you were, being the younger sibling. Younger siblings are always evil until they
the older ones are terrible.
No. We don't need to get into this. I already know that you couldn't understand. As the younger sibling, you wouldn't understand. You didn't have the same type of responsibilities we had as the older sibling.
Let's do the three. Let's do the clap. Let's do the 1, 2, 3 clap. I'm not going to argue with you about this today.
You wouldn't even. You couldn't even begin to understand.
As someone that has 2 children, and I have seen this play out in the past almost 8 years, I think I have a better weight, like more weight. I'm more of an expert than you are.
Keep going. There you go.
There we go. That's it.
Well, here I am.
What, Logan? Get out of here.
Younger siblings are pure. They're pure evil. They are pure evil.
Oh my god.
Just so you know.
Okay, let's do our 1, 2, 3 clap. Chris, do you want to do it for us?
I'll do it. Oh, also, you need to go into the Discord with your audio as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me about that.
You're welcome. You're recording on QuickTime because I am.
Of course I am. Been recording for 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Here we go.
All right, you ready? All right. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Okay, not bad.
Locked in.
Here we go.
All right,
are you ready for episode 52?
I know. I was like, what episode are we on again?
52, and I'm very excited because I know that Logan has been reminding you of all of your embarrassing stories from your childhood. Thanks, Logan, taking one for the team. And yes. I cannot wait to hear your awkward intro. So go ahead.
This isn't from my childhood, so sadly you're gonna be disappointed. But I still, this is one that I will never forget. All right.
Okay.
So for a period of time, I lived in downtown Long Beach. And I always wanted to live in Long Beach. It's, it's in Southern California. It's a beach city. It's pretty well known. Snoop Dogg. If you think of Long Beach, I think Snoop Dogg is the person you automatically associate with it. Okay. But I always wanted to move there. So they built this brand new building. But it was not, in the heart of downtown. It was in the, just a little bit sketchier part. It was a little too far north. They were trying to gentrify the area and it wasn't taken. And so we moved into this brand new building because they had a great deal because it was new and it was in not the best area. So we moved in there and it was right next to this giant grocery store. And so I remember one day I was walking to the grocery store and there was this homeless man like sitting against the wall. And he said, hey, you have any money? And I was like, no, I don't have any cash on me right now, but I'll get you something because I'm going to the grocery store. I said, what do you want? He said, could you give me some chips? I said, no problem. I got you. So I go in the store, I do my shopping, and I'm like, I get to the chip aisle and I see all the types of chips. And I find a giant bag. I was like, what, I'm not gonna get this man a little bag of chips. I'm gonna get him a big bag of chips. So he has a lot of chips. He'll be, he can eat on this and, whatever. So I walk outside. I'm all, yeah, man, he's gonna be so happy when I show him this bag of chips. I walk up to him. He's sitting right there at the same spot. And I said, here you go, man. Here's the chips. And he said, what's that? I was like, it's the chips you asked for. He's like, nah, I'm good. And I said, what do you mean you're good? He said, nah, it's too big. Hey, this is Chris.
And this is Allison, and you're listening to This Is Awkward. It's like, literally, beggars can't be choosers.
I was so mad. I was like, what do you mean this is too big? He's like, nah, I didn't want that many chips. And I literally said to him, I said, well, here, just eat what you want and just throw the rest away. I don't care. He's like, nah. And I was so mad. I think he just wanted the money from me. He didn't want the actual food. Mm-hmm. And so out of spite, I said, no, I'm taking these chips with me. And I ate those chips. I took them to my apartment and I ate them there because I was like, I'm not, I was so annoyed. Just tell me, I don't want money. I mean, I don't want food. Just give me some money. All right. That's all I want. Don't let me walk in there and buy these chips.
I've had a similar experience. When I was a teacher, we did this, we did this thing for the homeless where like all of our students collected supplies and we made those like blessing bags, right? Where it's like a gallon size bag and you put all these things in it. And we passed them out to the kids and we had some extra ones. So we kept them in my car. One time we were driving and we were in this traffic and there was a homeless person and Matt gets one of the bags. He rolls down his window and he hands it to him. And the guy looks at it and was like, I don't want that. And like walked away. Matt was like, okay. Like I had like toothpaste and deodorant, some food in it and all, and he was like, no, thanks. Just like kept walking on. I was like, okay.
He's like, I'm good. So yeah. So look, I got two good questions in here. So Kaylee said, what kind of chips were they though? Cause this response may have been valid. And then Angie also said, were they tortilla or potato chips? Maybe the wrong kind.
Yeah.
So
maybe he was allergic to gluten.
I asked him before I went in there because he's a human being. I'm not going to just force him to eat whatever food I feel like he should eat. I asked him, I said, what type of chips would you like? Because he said he wanted chips. I didn't choose to just bring him chips. I asked him, I said, I'm going into a grocery store that has anything that you can want food wise. What would you like?
Well, I would have been like, I want a rotisserie chicken.
I would have bought him a rotisserie chicken. If that's what he wanted, I would have bought him one. And he said, I want chips. And I said, knowing there's 1,000 chips on the chip aisle, I said, what type of chips would you like? And he said, just some plain chips. I said, you sure? You just want plain regular chips? Said, yep.
Like baked Lay's? Like Lay's?
Like Lay's chip. So I was like, okay, no problem. So that's why I was even more angry when I brought this man the chips he asked for. And he still was like, nah, I'm good. It's too many chips. I'm like, what do you mean there's too many chips? You didn't give me an ounce, a weight measurement of how many chips you wanted when I went in there. If you knew, I only want a little bit of chips. I don't want to be carrying around this big bag of chips. You could have just told me. But he really just was like, I wanted the money. So I'm just gonna tell you whatever just to make you walk away. And I was
maybe that's what it was. He should have taken the chips back to the store and got a refund, and then he would have had your money. He could have said, this man brought me these chips. I just want the money. So that's also another option. But that's pretty awkward. And it puts you in a very frustrating situation, which I think is what we hear a lot about from people and just experiences with other people, especially surrounding money, which, hey, the situation pretty much, it really came down to money, right? Because that's what he wanted. But that's what we do here. We talk about your awkward money stories and how to navigate them without losing your friends and family along the way.
Yeah, and if you want to be a part of what we do here, please feel free to send in your awkward stories. That's what makes this show what it is, and we get to hear from all of you and talk about the situations that you're dealing with. So you can always give us a call at 707-200-8259. Sorry, this is new software. I don't have a phone number icon for you all to see. Or you can do like what today's, awkward author did for us. And they went to our website. They went to awkwardpodcast.com and they submitted their awkward story there. And this is a good one, Allison. This is a good one.
Yes. It has to do with everyone's favorite topic, in-laws.
Anyone who's married loves this topic. They can't wait to talk about this more.
Yes. So we'll get into that right after this short break.
Well, the break that's actually happening right now, because you know what else everyone loves?
Patreon.
Yes, they do, Allison. Yes, they do. And if they love Patreon and they also love This Is Awkward, how can they combine those two things?
By joining our Patreon.
There you go.
I like how you're feeding this to me.
And if they were to join our Patreon, Allison, what would they get for that? Like what it comes with that?
What it comes with is, I feel very put on the spot. You get a Discord channel, which is similar to Slack to everyone who didn't know what Discord is. Like I didn't know. A Discord channel. You get to talk with us. We have bonus episodes. We have you get to join us live on all of our things. We shout you out. What else? Just happiness, joy, laughter. I mean, things that are honestly priceless. However, we will offer them to you starting at, what is it? $3 a month, $5 a month?
At $3 a month.
$3 a month. Oh, and you don't have to listen to ads.
Yeah. And you get at least 2 bonus episodes every month at minimum. And especially when we take breaks, you get even more episodes than you normally would.
Yes. And these bonus episodes, how do we put it? They're just very unscripted.
Very much so.
They're very unscripted. They're very, it allows you to really get to know us. How about that? And it allows us to get to know you.
Yeah, I love that. And if you want to come get to know us and support the work we do here, you can go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast. Or, I think it's also, if you're watching us live on YouTube, just go down in there in the description. There's a link in there for Patreon as well, if you're not already supporting what we do.
Yeah. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, we do. So now we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back.
Oh, is this when our break is?
Yeah, I know. I was talking to Allison earlier and I was like, I know it's so hard. We've only been doing this podcast for like 2 years. I know it's so difficult to remember how it works, but
My bad.
You'll catch on one day. So,
okay, we'll see you after the break.
All right. Oh, this is the break right here.
Oh,
here we go. So
gosh.
Angie said, put this up here. We learned to solve tech issues like not deleting Dropbox folders or getting better internet. Hey, okay. I think the internet one.
Really an educational class.
This is truly a tech
really
show.
It really is.
It's
that and like life.
Show. Yeah.
It's a tech life show.
Life-solving problems. Wait, life-solving problems? How to solve life problems? Something like that.
Hey, also, while we're on our break, if anyone is listening, you 5 viewers, please, either in the chat right now or Discord, leave us some questions for an Ask Me Anything for our next episode.
I was like, what happened? Did you?
No, that was just me. That was my mind pausing, not my internet pausing.
Your mind was buffering there for a second there.
It was. Oh goodness.
But yeah, okay. we're planning on doing a AMA episode maybe next week. We have to push it back to give people more time, but in the next coming weeks, we're going to do an AMA episode for patrons. So send in your questions if you have any.
Yes. Are you going to read this story or am I?
You know what? Why don't you read it, Allison?
Okay, then I need to get this over here.
You make it bigger. Put your glasses on so you can see.
Okay, here we go.
I know it's difficult for you. All right, Allison, I am excited to jump into this one because, a good in-law story. Who doesn't like it? Who doesn't like it? So why don't you share this one with us?
Okay, so thank you to the person who sent this in. Here's what they said. Hello, love your podcast and the humor you both bring to it. I heard you're looking for more awkward stories. And while this one isn't happening so much currently, it has the potential to become very awkward. My husband comes from a very poor family, although we are doing fine financially. While the in-laws don't ask for money, they obviously need it. And other family members ask us to contribute to random things as a gift for them. The problem is that we know that within 10 years, we'll probably be paying for the retirement while raising a family at the same time. I don't mind contributing here and there because that's what family does. My in-laws aren't lazy. They just can't get anywhere. While I know I overthink, I'm both scared for my future with my husband as well as frustrated at all the money we're going to have to give them because I feel bad for not doing the same for my parents. We also have a hard time saying no to people, so that doesn't help. Some other family members have also mentioned that they will not be willing to give to, wait, hold on. Some other family members have also mentioned that they will not be willing to give anymore. What do we do? Is it wrong to say no? And any tips on how to deal with potentially awkward situations? How can we prepare ourselves to be better equipped to help? Thanks so much for whatever advice you can offer.
Oh, that was a great question. A great question. And you did the heavy lifting here. Why don't you go first?
Okay. I have to go first.
Yeah.
After I read it. Okay. I don't know anything about this, but I will say I think that there are more people in this type of situation than many realize. Especially like I know, especially in the Latino community, it's very common to always help your family. So that's like very much like ingrained into it. and it's almost like an expectation. And so I think that culturally, this is something that you see more in other cultures, um,
Have you
where
felt
it's
that
like,
pressure?
I haven't. So I haven't. So my dad, I'm half Hispanic. Um, my grandma did very well. So my grandfather died when I was younger,
Hmm.
and then I think that I don't know how she does financially. I mean, she's 89 and she
Wow.
gets by. Like I mean, she doesn't have a lot of money, but she doesn't ask for help. I think that she's like, she had her house flood at one point, like to the ceiling in
To the
Louisiana.
ceiling.
Yeah, during a
And the
hurricane.
house
And
is
I
still
think,
there afterwards?
no.
Oh, okay. Well, you said flood. So I was like, did the water leave and then now she went back and lived
Well,
in
no,
it?
the water left and it basically emptied out and everything was just terrible. And then that's where, like, when you had major situations like that, I think that that's whenever money was gifted, but then also returned after they sold the property. So it was
Mm,
like this property that was, on this river and everything. It was very nice. So it was almost like a gift and a return. But I also don't know the inner workings of like my parents' finances with the family. But I
yeah.
don't like, there's not any pressure from me as a child or expectation to provide for my parents, if that
Mm.
makes sense.
Yeah,
So
you
like,
don't feel
that's
that.
not an expectation on me. I don't know if that's an expectation on my parents. I don't think it is, but there's not that. So there's definitely, but I do know that it's common. Um, so what do you think?
Yeah. I think it's hard because in the situation right now, if I'm looking back at the story, like right now, they said they don't need any help. Like they're not actually actively having to. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm reading this. Yes, it says while in-laws don't ask for money, they obviously need it. And other family members ask us to contribute to random things as a gift for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I think it was Julian of Rich and Regular. I was talking to
Mm-hmm.
him, and he was talking about, he used this term called the sandwich generation. And
Okay.
it's these people who
Oh.
have kids that obviously need support, but they also have parents who need financial support.
Mhm.
And that's the situation that he found himself in. And it's a very unique and difficult spot to be in because
Mhm.
you're essentially taking on like another dependent.
Yep.
And it's so hard because so many people don't have, like, for example, pensions have pretty much gone away in most situations. Unless
Yep.
you work for the government, most people weren't really taught how to save properly in a 401k, or maybe didn't even have enough money to start investing for their retirement
Exactly.
on their own. And so then you have the situation where they're at that age where, they probably need to stop working, but they don't have enough money. And Social Security is really not that much money at all.
Mhm. No,
And
it's really not.
and it's a lot of pressure.
Mhm.
And I think you're gonna have to make a decision, right? If you're going to set boundaries and say I can't help, or I don't want to, or
Yeah.
you're going to come up with some plan to actually coordinate with the rest of the members of your family and
Mhm.
decide how it's going to work. But you have to there has to be some type of discussion and coordination because you can't ignore it because it's going to come down
Mhm.
the road at some point. It's going to happen. I think I said the problem is that we know within 10 years we'll probably be paying their retirement while raising a
Mhm.
family at the same time.
So, I think that this is where a lot of, like, multi-generation homes, like, why there are, multi-generation homes where, grandma lives there because of this type of issue,
Hmm.
and just needing help and everything like that. I actually have a friend, a close friend who I won't mention her name or anything, but she actually is going through this, with her mother.
Mm.
So her parents are divorced, and they actually had to find creative ways to kind of push off the inevitable.
Mm.
So, for instance, she helped her mom sell her home, which sold very well in the crazy market.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I'm
this
sure
was
it did.
before, yeah, before interest rates went off and everything like that. So, they were helping her do that to extend her retirement income. But she's going to come to a point where she is going to have to help her mother. And so I recommended that she actually create like this boundary of like, okay, number one, do you want to help your mom? And then number two, can you commit, like, if you're willing to do this, can you commit to a certain amount? Like,
Mm.
not a free for all of, tell me what you need every month, but
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
it's $500 a month or something. And then you add that into your budget almost like it's this expense that you would be expecting to to do. Another thing is to get really creative with housing, because, thinking about what are the biggest expenses in terms of housing. But it's very sad because, you've heard about like these older people that have no money and then they're eating like dog food and stuff. It's
Yeah.
very, very sad. And you don't also want to put your parents in that situation. So when I read this, they're not saying we don't, what she's saying, is it wrong to say no?
Yeah.
It seems like they want to help. They want to be able to help. But how can you help in a way that still allows you to be in a good spot financially?
Yeah, no, I agree. Because I was reading back here again, and she said that I'm both scared for my future with my husband, as well as frustrated at all the money we're going to have to give them, because I feel bad for not doing the same thing for my parents. And I think, well, there's multiple layers of guilt that our writer is sending in or is talking about right now. But here's the thing: I think you're going to feel guilt regardless. Like either you help them and you feel guilt, or you do nothing and you feel a different type of guilt. And I think it's important to have a plan, like you said. You can't just, I think that's where the frustration comes in, where you're just kind of like piecemealing it out. Like all of a sudden they need $1,000 and the next, month they need $4,000. And it's like all sporadic all over the place, and it completely disrupts your own financial situation. And it sounds like there's other family who's kind of also feeling this frustration, knowing that they have to help them.
Yeah. And they're like, nope, we're done.
Like we're done. And so there's going to need to be, I think you have to have coordination, and it's hard to talk to family and get everyone on the same page, because some people are just gonna be like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm out. I don't care. They should have done better. So bye. Like there's people who are going to have that attitude, and there's going to be people who are, sounds like this writer here, our person who wrote in, that they want to help and they just are frustrated at the way they're having to help. And I think that becomes from a lack of coordination and a fixed plan or strategy to how to approach this versus just what's going on now.
And I think that it's totally okay to feel frustrated and to feel torn. I think it is. And I think that it's very smart for this person who's writing in to start thinking through this. And it allows them, because they're saying in 10 years, right? Like within 10 years, they're going to probably really need to be helping. I think that if that's true, this gives you time the next 10 years to say, what do I need to do with my finances to get myself set so that because it's not certain, hopefully, right? But if this comes, that I can, and I'm willing to help, that I can. Because I know, like, if my parents were to say, hey, Allison, I would be happy to offer them $500 a month or whatever I needed to. But I would feel resentment if I couldn't meet my own needs. Exactly. So how can we make sure in the next 10 years that you set yourself up to be able to meet your needs and your children's needs, so that if these in-laws do come to you, you're not feeling that pain and that resentment and feeling like, oh, I have to do this because no one else is helping them. And instead you're looking at it like, okay, this is a gift. This is a gift from me. So preparing yourself as much as you can to help you be able to approach it differently and see it differently.
Yeah. You have to plan this out. This is basically has to become a line item in your budget now. Yeah. And if you're going to say yes to this, because what they asked was, what do we do? Is it wrong to say no? And any tips on dealing with the awkward situation? Is
it wrong to say no?
Yeah, let's break through these one at a time. Yeah. So do you feel it's wrong to say no?
No, I don't feel like it's wrong to say no. I think that it's your choice. Everyone's allowed to have choices. They made choices, and you're 100% allowed to say no. I think, though, you saying no is, like, to me, I don't think I would say no because of the relationship that I have with my parents. So I think also whether or not you say yes or no also depends on your relationship and if you're close. If this is a parent that, left when you were younger and they're coming back late in life and asking something, that's very different than having like a parent that was supportive and raised you and everything like that. So I think it's not just this like, it's very gray. It's not this direct yes or no thing. It's very gray. What do you think?
Yeah, it is very great. And also, if anyone in the chat right now, just let us know your thoughts on this. Like, do you think it's okay to say no? Would you feel comfortable saying yes or no to this? And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying no. You just kind of have to prepare yourself emotionally for the fact that if you say no, what you may hear back, like, their response, stories from family, if they continue to struggle, you have to say, if I'm saying no, I have a reason why I'm saying no, because I can't afford
Hmm.
to say yes, and
Yeah.
be okay with making that decision. Because you can't keep flipping back and forth. Like, oh no, never mind, I changed my mind. Yes, I'll help you. And then all of a sudden, oh well,
Yeah.
no, this actually is too tough for me. So you kind of have to decide. And then I think the hardest part of all of this is having a money conversation with your parents and having them be open and transparent with you and honest
Hmm.
about where they are. Because
Yeah.
if everyone's having to give them money, then they're clearly not, financially stable enough.
Hmm.
And you have to have hard conversations about what does that mean.
Yeah.
And it could mean that they have to live with someone. They have to come live and move with family. And
Yep.
you have to make a decision together who that's going to be. Or you may have to make a
Hmm.
decision on what expenses they're going to have to cut and hold them to it. Like it becomes really I understand their pain making this decision because it's hard.
Hmm.
It's super complicated because there's a lot
Yeah.
that goes into this. It's not just a simple, oh, just, I'll say yes and we'll figure it out. You really have to plan this out. This becomes a whole family decision and conversation, which is hard because not everyone, most families, every member is not going to be on the same page with this at all in any
Yeah.
way.
Yes. Oh, Kaylee just left a really good
Oh, I'll
comment.
put it
She
up on the
said
screen
it's
here.
definitely a cultural component here too. I'm half Hispanic and grew up in a multi-generational household. Grandparents came here with nothing and worked multiple jobs to give their kids an education. See? And so then you say, and she says all the kids supported them as they aged. So it's almost like, okay, they sacrificed for you,
Yeah.
so you turn around in your later years and sacrifice for them. I think that is a very different view to look at it, because then it makes you want to do it, because then you think, okay, this is part of what I do. So in certain cultures, it wouldn't even be like, what, is it wrong to say no? It's just
Mm,
expected.
yeah.
So first off, you have to realize that, of the culture you're in and the way you were raised, and then also ask yourself, okay, maybe it is expected and maybe this is what I do for my in-laws or my parents, but I don't actually like it, and I don't want my kids to have to do that for me. And then
Mm,
that's where you start making that change, right? Generational change comes from, I mean, I think it takes a very long time, but that's that one thing that you can do to start kind of breaking up what the norm is if you don't like it.
yeah. Yeah. You can say, okay, I'm going to do things differently for, my time around
Mhm.
when I may be in this position.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think if you're in a situation like Kayla was mentioning, where it's like if it's part of your culture, then that means you're going to have to coordinate with everyone else. This becomes
Yes.
a group. This is a group project now. We're
A
all coming
group
together.
I know, but in group projects, there's always one person that does all the work.
Exactly, and I think that's the tough part. Like if it sounds like this person is probably the responsible person in the family, and they probably
Yeah.
are gonna have to deal with a lot of the weight of planning this, organizing it, which is a lot. It often falls on women in the family as well. They're also the ones who are
Mhm.
often stuck with the planning and caring for a family, and
Yes,
and
absolutely.
it's a
Well,
lot.
and I don't know. I know for me, I would want to be in charge of that. Like when I think about me and my brother, like, Nick, I've got it. So part of that is it does tend to fall on women, but I want that response. I would rather have that responsibility than have him do it, because I
Mm.
think I can do it better.
This is a control problem for you. This isn't a response like I have this deep ingrained feeling of responsibility. It's I know I can do it better than the rest of these people.
Then my brother, yes. Sorry, Nick. But I would love, if this ever happens, I would still love for you to contribute financially.
You're like, I'm gonna plan it, but you're still going to be giving money. Okay, just make it clear.
Exactly. Kaylee also said a lot of our drive as kids to be successful comes from the heartbeat of, I want to give back to my parents for everything they gave me. And
Mm,
so I think that there's a difference. And I think what's different here is that the person who wrote in, this wasn't her parents. This was her
that's true.
in-law.
That is
So
true.
you don't have, so she maybe didn't have that drive as a child, and maybe her partner does. So I think that this is very multifaceted. I think that sometimes it's like you have to do what you have to do. But
Yeah.
once again, I think it goes back to, what can you do now, no matter where you are in your stage of life, no matter where you are in your money journey, no matter how old you are, what can you do now to set yourself up financially, so that if you do if you're given the opportunity to help your parents, because some people see it as a thing they want to do, some
Yeah.
people see it as a burden, right? But if you're given that opportunity or that expectation, what can you do so that way you're in a place where it does not lead to resentment, it does not lead to anger, and instead you see it as like this, like this act of love.
Mm. Yeah, you definitely have to reframe it for yourself, because it is a sacrifice you're
Mm-hmm.
making. It's a big
Yeah.
sacrifice to help family financially like that. And
Yes, but what if you had to and you said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I get to do this for my parents because I can afford to, be able to give to them this money every month, and I love them and I know they worked hard for me and this is my way to like be supportive and give back," versus, "Oh my gosh, I have all of this debt, I have all these credit card loans, I have all of this, I'm barely making by, and now my parents want $300. Who do they think they are? Why didn't they set themselves up for success?" Right? So
well,
which
okay,
position would you want to be
all
in?
right. I'm gonna push back a little bit on this, because I think, okay, that's a great way to if you're saying yes, that is a great way to change the way you think about it to help you continue to keep doing this. But we're all human. And
Yes.
that feeling of, you know what, I'm really doing the right thing is going to wear off.
You
And
think so?
I think it will. I think it can, especially if, one, these aren't her parents. Two, there's
Okay,
other
that's fair.
family involved. And if you're stuck with the responsibility of all of this, resentment's going to start to grow over time. You're going to get
Oh
tired of
yeah.
this. You're going to start to be irritated that other people aren't carrying their weight or putting in their fair share.
Hmm.
And I think that's when it's going to get difficult. And so I think that's why you have to have this. I think you have to say, make a decision for yourself first. Are you okay with doing this? Are you going to agree that you want to help them financially? That's step one. I think step two is figuring out how much you actually can afford to help
Yes.
financially.
Okay.
And then step three, after you figured out that stuff for yourself, going and talking to everyone else.
Yes, communicating.
Yeah. And then being okay with some people just saying, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not on board. I can't. Even if they can, they may just say they can't.
Yeah.
And you just have to prepare yourself emotionally and mentally for the fact that, you probably won't get everyone on board, but you know what you can do and you have to work within your
Yeah.
means on that.
Yeah. It's a hard situation.
It is. This is really difficult. There's no easy answer to this situation.
Yes. So, yeah. But I think we answered the questions. They said, any tips on how to deal with potentially awkward situations? I think that the tip here is it's going to be awkward and you just have to push past it. Like, it's going to be awkward to have these conversations, but you need to just push past it and go in and state the facts and realize that whatever you're doing out of a place of love for your family. And then secondly, how can we prepare ourselves to be better equipped to help? I mean, I think, just preparing yourself in the next 10 years. I love the idea personally of saying, like, what's our goal? If we want to give $300 or $500 to our parents, let's set it aside now and invest it that way for the next 10 years. That way we prepare our spending habits and we don't like lifestyle creep, right? To prepare yourself.
You're making me want to nerd out here on this, Alice.
Oh my gosh, you're going to pull up an investment calculator?
All right, so yeah, let's go here. I'm going to bring this up here. So I gotta switch monitors around here so I can see what's going on.
So while you're bringing this up, I'm going to say, okay, if this is something you're going to commit to, obviously, if you're in a financial position to be able to, especially as you get raises or you increase your income over time, because I really hope you don't stay at the same income. I want everyone to increase their income over time, especially with this damn inflation. Sorry, you don't have to cut that out.
Language, Alice.
Sorry. Anyway, so the hope is to increase your income. Well, as you're getting that income increase, if you start setting aside some of that money and you start putting that in investments, then, it's like you're training yourself to be prepared for this upcoming expense.
Exactly. So, okay, I was bringing up calculators. I thought you were going to talk
Sorry,
about
I get angry when I think about inflation.
How dare you? That was your potty mouth out there.
I know, and I even was like, I said that in bold. That if I was writing it, I would have bolded that.
Oh, okay. I was trying to find a good calculator for the like an annual amount.
Oh,
but give me a second here as I find a good one.
Goodness, here we go.
One that's not overly complicated.
But yes, that's what I used to do, and it's kind of fun because when I was thinking about quitting my teaching job, it was a matter of like, okay, how much like I would make these almost like example budgets, or these, I would just make budgets of being like, okay, what if, like these situational budgets. What if I quit teaching and I only made half of what I made in my business as I did teaching? Could we afford to live? And I would create these almost these situational budgets to allow myself to understand if the decision I was making was actually a good one. So I wanted to make the decision based off of facts and not numbers. So I definitely think this is something that you should do as well when you're thinking about this.
Yeah. You really have to lay this out. I think that's having these conversations is so important, because you're going to have to lay all of this out and really come up with a strong plan for how financially this is going to be feasible for you.
Let's talk about Angie's comment. Angie just left a comment here.
Bring it up here. I'll bring it up for you.
She says, we wanted to help my in-law too. We offered to, where did it go?
There you go.
What are you doing?
I was bringing up the right one. Give me room to read it.
We wanted to help my in-laws too. We offered to set up a way for everyone to send money monthly, whatever we could afford that month, into an account, and we're told no. Now we get guilt phone calls. So I'm wondering, Angie, who are you getting guilt phone calls from? I'm guessing the in-laws. And then I wonder if maybe they said no as like a defense mechanism, because it's hard to admit that, you know, I didn't do something, or, you know, I missed an opportunity to invest, or I didn't know how to invest, or I didn't know how to save, or I didn't think about this. And so that takes a lot of courage and being very vulnerable to say like, yeah, this is actually what we need. That takes a lot. So I'm wondering who she's getting the guilt phone calls from. And then just to be able to accept that type of thing, I think it can actually be very hard for people, because then it's them and admitting to themselves and to everyone else that like, I'm not in a place that I want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, Chris, you're taking forever on this. Can we drop it?
If we can, I'll figure it out later. Because basically,
okay.
So, all right, I'm gonna nerd out here for a second.
Like,
tell you what I was doing. So there's calculators out there. Like, for example, there's a really good government calculator from the U.S. government about projecting how much money you'll have in the future given a bunch of different variables. As a trash truck drives by, it makes a bunch of noise here.
I couldn't hear that at all.
Okay, good. So you can go in there, you can say, okay, if I have this much money, I can afford to put it in. So let me just show you. I'll put this up. I can show this one.
Oh my gosh.
Because I love sharing this. All right, here we go. I think this is the right one. Share screen. All right, you can see all my music that I was playing there. And bring it up to the right one here. So I'm going to go to Chrome. Where are you at, Chrome? There you are. All right, there's a calculator. You can see it.
There we go. So make it bigger.
Make it bigger?
I just can't see it very well.
Look, you're old.
There you go.
Don't blame. Don't.
I'm a month younger than you, old man.
Your eyes are at least 30 years older than me. Or just wear your glasses. Stop trying to be cool. Take your glasses. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see. So this is like a very simple calculator to project how much money you can have in the future.
Investor.gov, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Investor.gov is a website. And so, for example, you could do something like if you have nothing in the account right now, you got nothing invested right now. But you say, I can put aside $300. Let's say $300 a month, right? And let's say you think, she said 10 years from now is
10
when.
years.
So put 10 years, and then we're going to assume 7%. That's pretty average for a stock market. And we're not going to do any of this variance range here. And then we're going to say it compounds annually. I'm going to do monthly. Why not? And you hit calculate. So it says in 10 years, you have $52,000 basically at that rate.
Yeah, but show how much they actually invested. Does it actually say how much they?
I think I'm gonna have it here.
Show table. So you have 52,000, but your total contributions was only 36,000. So you only used $36,000 of your own money, and it's now grown to almost $52,000. So
you can
I like the idea.
Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish.
No, I was just gonna say I like the idea of doing this if it fits in your financial plan, to be able to kind of like say, okay, maybe in the next year I want to start like pretending like I'm sending that money to the in-laws, and then just put it in an investment account so that it's not a shock to my system.
Exactly. And then you can figure out how long this is going to last as well. So you would use something like a brokerage account. You would go to somewhere like Vanguard and open up just and a brokerage account is just like an investment account, and you can invest this money. Since it's going to be for, a decade, you'll give it some time to grow. Because if you needed this like next year, then no, don't invest this. Put this in a savings account. But you're almost treating this like a 529 plan, like you would say for your kids' education, but for your parents' future. You're almost kind of creating a retirement plan for them. You could even open up, for example, like an IRA for them and contribute into that directly. and that way it's in their
Yeah.
name as well. But this
Yeah.
kind of gives you an idea of how much money you could generate. And then you could use something kind of like, they call it the 4% rule, where you can safely take out 4% of your earnings from your retirement account every year without completely depleting what was in there. And so in this case, I don't think I can show my calculator on the screen, but if you had, it won't be a lot of money if with these numbers. But for example, if you had 52,000, you'd end up with, what is it?
Gosh, it's how much is it going to be? How much is it? Like nothing.
You're like, this is no money whatsoever.
This is not going to be a lot. This is not going to be impressive. What is it?
Now I don't even want to show you.
What is it?
So it's, oh wait, I did that wrong. Hold on. 52,000 times 4%.
Because is it 10% like 5,000?
So you can basically generate $2,000 a year off of that.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's
So it's not a lot of money, but it kind of gives you I think what I like about this, it gives you a realistic expectation of how much money you could generate, because you don't want to set unrealistic financial expectations for yourself.
Absolutely.
So there's you could either go the route of saving money up front, investing that and pulling it out, or just basically just building it into your budget and saying, how much of a cushion do I have available to start pulling out some of this money and, just sending it directly to them.
You know what I love about this conversation, Chris?
Oh, what?
It's that, we were talking about in-laws, and you and I somehow managed to just take it and just weave in budgeting and investing into it, right? Like, it's so great. But also, Angie just asked, what site is that? It's just investor.gov.
I'm also putting it in the chat here. So that gives you a link directly to the calculator there. So you can go and find it. But yeah,
and we'll put this in the show notes as well.
Oh, yeah. Good point. We got to remember that.
Yes.
Hey, Kaylee, can you remember to remind us to put this in the show notes?
Yeah, Kaylee, can you put this in the show notes, please? So that way it's actually there. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead. This has been really long, but really good. So let's go ahead and thank you to our author who wrote in. I think this is a wonderful topic and something that I hope that we helped you kind of just think through some of your options. And I just want to say thank you, because I know there's so many other people that see this on the horizon, and they might be nervous to talk about it, or it might bring up a lot of different emotions. So I want to thank you, the author, whoever wrote in about this, for talking about it, because I think that this conversation can help a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I agree. You have to be brave to share something personal like this. So we always appreciate everyone who takes the time to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we will be right back after a quick break.
Break's right here. Bam. There's the break.
Boom, shakalaka. It's the bomb diggity.
Oh, no.
Do you remember Raise the Roof? You remember Raise the Roof?
Yes, I remember. What do you mean, do I remember Raise the Roof? Yes, I remember.
Raise the Roof?
Yes, Allison. Yes, I remember. Thank you.
Do you think we would have been friends in high school?
Oh, probably not.
Middle school?
Probably not at all.
Because I was too cool for you?
Yeah, you were too. Look, I was not cool whatsoever. So you would have been like, who's this nerd? It would have been a typical high school movie. You're like, look at this nerd. Come here, nerd.
And then I'm like, let me give you a makeover, make you popular. And then I just remove the glasses.
I had hair back then. I could take my hair out of a ponytail. Throw my locks into the air.
God. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's get back to this.
Yeah, let's get back into the actual show.
Okay, you bring us back.
How about you bring us back, huh? How about you do that?
I'm going to let you introduce it. Okay, here we go. Chris, do you know what time it is?
I think I do.
I'm not very excited about this one, so why don't you tell us?
I don't know why you're not. Maybe you're thinking, oh, wow. I just looked at the notes and I'm like, wow. Okay, you'll all see soon. So this segment is called What I'm Loving. This is where we share the things that we're loving. It could be food. It could be a thing. It could be a place. It could be a show. It could be some acid that Allison likes to use to splash on her face. Whatever it is, this is a place where we share it. So that way we can kind of de-stress a little bit. Those awkward conversations, they're tough at times. And so this is our de-stressor. We're bringing it back down, bringing the energy down, giving some happiness out there. So maybe you all can find some things that you also love.
I would like to throw in an asterisk. The acid is a wonderful skincare routine that I think you should be using, not just on your face, but on your head as well.
What are you saying about my face and my head?
I don't know. I see all those wrinkles there. I'm just saying. Oh.
Wow. Let's see, I took them away. I have built-in acid. Anyways. Since you insulted me and you said you're not excited about this, you should go first, because I think we need to just get this out the way. And
okay.
so I can
so we are
going to
get this over with. I know. Don't shame me. But here's the deal. First off, I think it should be known that whenever
Get that out of there.
whenever Chris first approached me about doing this podcast, I was kind of like, Chris, it sounds like a lot of work. I don't know. Let me think about it. And he kind of bothered me about it a couple, and he was just like, come on, Allison, it's going to be great. Sorry. Come on, Allison.
Is that what it sound like?
Yes. And so one day I was sitting on the sofa and I told Matt, my husband, about the idea. And he was like, absolutely, you should do it. And didn't he come up with a name for our podcast?
I don't think he did. I think we can.
Okay,
don't give him that much credit, all right?
Anyway, so he used to be an avid listener. He would listen to every single episode at the beginning. He doesn't listen anymore.
He's like, I'm over this. Is he there right now? I see a shadow. Is he standing next to you?
No.
Oh, it must just be your shadow. You're like, who's in the room with me?
Like what? So he would listen to every single episode, and every single episode after he listened, he would be like, when are you going to say you're loving me? Why am I not on the This Is Loving list? And my response was always the same. I would say, this is for me to share what I'm loving so others can try it out as well. And I don't want people trying you out. Like, I'm not interested.
No free samples will be given.
Yes, like I'm not interested in that. Like, how is that going to be helpful? Anyway, he still brings it up every now and then. So I'm going to go ahead and finally say what I'm loving is my husband, Matt.
I've never seen a more unenthusiastic announcement of what you're loving on this podcast. This is the least energy you've ever given to this segment. You gave more excitement to pens.
I love my pens. I love my pens. I have them right over there. Okay, but no, he's really great. First off, and Saturday is our 11-year wedding anniversary, so this is very timely.
This is the least you can do.
In a couple of days.
This is the least
I will say that this is my favorite time to be married to Matt. I mean, I'm always happy to be married to Matt.
Like
this is my
11:48 Pacific Standard Time is your favorite time?
I'm talking June and July because he's a teacher. So in June and July, he cooks every single meal. He makes the kids breakfast. He is like the person that like takes them places and does everything. And
fixes your internet when you break things.
Fixes my internet when I break things, moves my office around. He's going to paint this wall behind me tomorrow or the next day. So he's like just super dad, super husband in these like 2 months. And I love it. I love it so much. So, and then in August, he goes back to work and I'm the one home doing all these things and I forget how to do it. So anyway, I love Matt. I think everyone should get their own version of Matt.
Where can we pick one up? Do you have a link? You have an affiliate link?
Obviously, I got him at the Motherland, Target. I found him roaming the aisles of Target looking for a good wife. And I was like, boom, right there.
Like, I'm taking this one home. Did you take him to the scanner first to check the price?
Yes. Yeah. Kaylee says we love a supportive king.
Also,
he's really great. What?
I'm going to throw in the fact that on a weekly basis, you force this man to fix the internet, move your furniture, and just completely rearrange his life so you can record this podcast. And I'm going to give him credit for that.
I know. Chris is always like, you need to give Matt more credit. He's always getting on to me.
Yeah, like, you need to be nicer to him.
That's what he always says.
I see, we all remember, we all saw this on the live stream as you yelled at him after you broke the internet.
I yelled at him? No,
Poor Matt. Poor Matt.
No, I didn't. I
I'm
didn't yell at him. You should. He would like that very much.
I'm saying, Matt, happy anniversary, and we'll send him a gift. That won't be weird at all.
No, but he would be like, "Oh, Chris is so nice."
No, he wouldn't. He'd be like, "Why is Chris sending me a gift for my anniversary?"
I think he would like it. You should do it. You should send him. Do y'all have a Torchy's Tacos out there?
I have no idea what Torchy's is. I've never heard of that in my life.
You need to come here and you need to eat Torchy's. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let's move on to what you're loving.
All right. So what I'm loving is something that I'm sure, 80% of the world is loving right now. And that is Stranger Things season 4. I just finished it. I feel like it took 35 hours to watch the entire season.
They were long episodes.
These were long episodes. I don't know if Do I even need to explain what Stranger Things is? I feel like everyone knows what Stranger Things is at this
I
point.
don't think you need to.
I don't think so I won't. But Stranger Things season 4 just came out. I think it's been a few years since season 3 had come out.
It was, I think, was it because of the pandemic?
It must have been. It must have been because of the pandemic. They kind of like shut everything down. But
yeah, that's what I think too.
They've completely redone the story. This is very different from previous seasons.
It's so much better.
Okay, I think people see. I wasn't tired of it. Like I enjoyed all the seasons up to this point. Yeah, it was kind of getting old. The monster of the season type of thing. But this is like it's more in leaning to the adult kind of horror style.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, I was shocked at how far they went with this, but I'm not spoiling anything because some people probably out there have not seen this yet. But if you haven't, I highly recommend it. If you're like, oh, you know what, I used to like Stranger Things, but I don't really watch it anymore. Watch this because it's a whole. If they just swap the actors out, you would think this is a completely different show. It doesn't even feel like previous seasons at all.
It doesn't.
Highly
okay, so I have to say that I watched Stranger Things with Matt. Like he watched the first season and he was like, I don't know if you can handle this because I get really Bird Box scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, you don't need to watch Stranger Things if you can watch Bird Box.
I could not go to sleep after Bird Box. I was literally laying in bed and I would close my eyes and I would see the man in the river grabbing Sandra Bullock and I would start crying. I actually had to read my Bible to calm myself down at like 2 a.m. because I could not handle Bird Box. Like Bird Box terrified me. So enter Stranger Things and I'm like, okay, if I can do Bird Box.
I want to believe you're doing like an exorcism at night after watching Bird Box. You're like across, you're like sprinkling holy water around your room.
I was so scared after Bird Box. Like I did not sleep well for nights. I would just get like really scared and I would just like cry and be like, oh my God, the man in the river. Like I could not handle Bird Box.
Well, Logan said, well, Bird Box is frighteningly awful.
It was just frightening.
That movie was bad. That was a bad movie, Allison.
Oh my gosh, it was terrifying. So when Stranger Things came out, he was like, I don't know if you can handle it. And I was like, I'll try it. Like I'll watch it with you. And it was okay. Like I could do it. Season 4 came out and Matt had downloaded. We were camping in the woods. Matt, there's Bird Box.
What's your one in this artwork for Bird Box?
Matt downloads the Stranger Things season 4, like the first 3 episodes, because we had no service. So he downloaded them in advance to his phone. And it was our first night camping and we start watching it. And we're just in this campsite, pitch black. We're in our little camper. And I was like, nope.
That is the wrong place to be watching this show. This season specifically.
What? I mean, it was season 1 of episode 4 is just terrifying.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
No, sir, I'm going to roll over and I'm going to like read my book. I was reading my book on how to talk so teens will listen and how to listen so teens will talk. I was like, you go ahead and do that thing. I'm going to use my little light over here and read my book and we can talk about this on a later date when I'm not in the woods waiting for someone to come kill me. Like
you're like, I didn't even bring my emergency bottle of holy water to the camping ground because I didn't think I was going to need it.
I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So actually don't lie. Don't lie. I do have holy water in my house. We have a lot of holy water in our house. No, it was my grandma gave it to me. Actually, my youngest son uses it at night to do the sign of the cross so he doesn't have bad dreams when we pray. So he uses his holy water to put on him. That was from my grandma Flores. Anyway, it was terrifying, but it was so good. I finally watched it. I finally got the courage to watch it.
Yeah, now they took a lot of liberties with the length of these episodes. So I think every episode is well over an hour. Over an hour, like hour 10, hour 15. They broke it up into 2 parts. So they got the first 7 episodes and they took a break and then the last 2. Episode 7 is like an hour and 40 minutes. 8 is like an hour and 30. And then the last episode is 2, I think it's like 2 hours and like 20 minutes. This is
Are you serious?
You have to set aside time. I could not watch 2 episodes back to back because it was just too long. That would be like 2.5 hours of me sitting there and I just couldn't. I was like, so I broke it up.
Matt and I did that. So we had one night where my kids asked to go stay the night at my mom's house. So
well, you're on a time clock. That's why you're like, we got to hurry up and get this before they come back.
And we like sat down at like 8:00 at night and Matt was like, oh, there's 2 episodes left. We did not look at the time length. So I was like, let's do it. Let's finish it tonight. And it was like 2:00 in the morning or something.
Like 4 hours later.
Yeah. 4 hours later. I was like, how late is it? But I had no concept of time while I was watching it because I was so engrossed.
That's the thing about the show. Yes, it's long, but they make very good use of the time. I was talking to Logan, who was just hating on Bird Box, and we had watched Obi-Wan, the show. Did you ever watch Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, I think Matt watched it. I don't know.
Well, I watched it and it was not great.
Okay.
I wanted the best for it. I was really excited. You know how much I love Star Wars. I was really excited for this, and it was not great. And it
I'm
feels
sorry
like
about
sometimes
that
like some of the
loss for you.
Marvel. Oh, what'd you say?
So I'm sorry about that loss.
Yeah, I felt that in my soul. And I feel like some of the Marvel and Star Wars TV shows, the pacing is off. Like it feels like there's a lot of like they could go faster. Like there's not a lot
Slow?
happening. Like it's very slow paced, and then they can like rush at the end. Whereas I feel like with Stranger Things, it's very well paced. Like it's like every second you're like glued to the screen. Like what is about to happen
Yes.
next? Like they're getting so much done in that time that
It
it
is
doesn't feel like it.
crazy. Yeah, it was amazing. I actually felt sad. I had that feeling of when it was done. I was like, nothing to look forward to now. You know how you feel when you end something. Like I felt that after Lost was over. Like when you're watching something, you're so committed, and then you're like, oh, and then Matt was like, it's gonna take him another 3 years. I was like, no, it's not.
It is.
It's not gonna take him that long.
No, they say it's gonna be a while before the next one comes out.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So just
Well.
find something else. I watch a lot of TV, so I'll give you some more recommendations. I'll get you something to fill the gap.
Did I ever tell you that Matt and I watched Severance?
You did. After I told
Yes.
you just need to trust my recommendations, Allison. I will not steer you.
Okay,
wrong.
we also started watching The Flight Attendant, and that's trash.
Oh no, I didn't.
So-
I didn't recommend that.
You recommended The Flight Attendant.
Oh, I recommended it before I
It's like
finished
one
it,
day.
and then I didn't like it by the time I got to the end.
Matt and I watched like the first 2 episodes, and we were like, "What is wrong with Chris?"
I recommended that one too early.
Not on.
That was too early. So, but I'll get you something else.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, well, we're going long, so let's move on to our final segment of the day, Allison. Which is that? I don't even know how to speak anymore. What is our final segment? Which is our final segment?
Chris, just mute yourself for a little bit to get yourself in order. Our final segment is actually Chris's favorite segment. It's when we do a listener shout out. And this one is super special. We love giving listener shout outs to podcast reviews, which by the way, you can just go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. It's free to do, and it's something we look forward to reading. But this one's even more special than that because we are coming up on an anniversary for one of our patrons.
Yes, we are. It's about to be. I think by the time this airs, it will be the 1 year anniversary for Beth Ann, who also goes by B-Star.
Guys,
is it today?
This airs on her anniversary.
Couldn't be any better. Couldn't be
It's like
any
we
better.
planned it. So anyway, happy anniversary to Beth Ann B-Star for being here and joining us for all of this fun for the past year. We hope that you continue to join us for years to come, and that we are celebrating your 10-year anniversary 9 years from now.
And we really do appreciate it. You supporting what we do. So you allow us to keep making the show. And she joins us live a lot of times. I don't know if she's here right now, but she's often here with us when we record live. So Beth Ann, thank you. We appreciate the support and you being a part of what we do.
Yeah. Well, we've made it to the end of another episode, and it wasn't awkward until, I don't know, Chris tried to pull up that calculator and couldn't figure out how to use Google correctly.
I think it was when you unenthusiastically announced what you were loving, but we'll
Oh, yeah, we won't have Matt listen to this episode.
Don't let him listen to this episode.
But anyway, thanks to our anonymous author. I really, really hope that we helped you just kind of think through your financial situation with your in-laws and anyone else who finds himself in the same situation. And if you have a friend that you think would like this episode in particular, you can actually share it with them inside of your podcast app, whatever app you're using. Go ahead and share it with them so that way they can listen to it as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you said this because I stopped paying attention to what you were saying. But
What?
if
Rude.
you have an awkward story and Allison hasn't already told you where to go, okay, good. You can call us at 707-200-8259. You can be completely anonymous. You don't have to leave your name or anything. Just tell us your awkward story and we'll use it in a future episode. Or you can be like our author today and you can go to awkwardpodcast.com. I almost forgot.
Say it with confidence.
You can go to awkwardpodcast.com. No need for www. Just go to awkwardpodcast.com.
You can add the www, which by the way, if you have not heard that episode, I don't know what episode it was in, but we have an Instagram reel about that, and it did very well.
It did, because people love seeing you not know that that's not how the internet works.
A lot of people learned it through the reel that you didn't have to type in www. I'm just going to say that.
But
anyway,
here's the site right here. You can go right here, share your awkward story. Bam, right there. If you're watching this, there's a form. quickly fill it out, leave us your awkward story. You can even put a fake name. We don't care. We're not going to do a background check on you. And leave us your awkward story. Or look at this. You can even become a patron right here and join our Patreon. Let me click this. Let's see what happens. Hopefully this link works.
Wouldn't it be awkward if it's like error?
But there you go. You can join us here on Patreon. You can accept these privacy settings if you want. And then you can join us here for as low as $3 a month and be a patron and support the work we do here.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining us live. We hope you have a great day, and we'll be back with another episode in 2 weeks. But if you're a Patreon member, you will have a bonus episode next week.
That's right. Next Thursday at the same time, 11 a.m. We'll be back. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Same time, same place.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye.